All right, welcome to the 1 o'clock session today. We're going to be talking about BoxBrownie. Just as a reminder, you don't have to have your cameras on. This isn't a CE credit. And to make sure you stay muted as well, it'll help the recording stay nice and clean. This is being recorded and it will be on our training YouTube in the future, so you can always go back and take a look at this in the future. My name is Kristen Fredericks. I am the digital marketing administrator for the company. And if you see it on a screen, it's usually under my purview for the company. After this, if you have any questions at all, you can always reach our web support team at websupport@rwtown.com. We're happy to answer any questions you have about any of our digital offerings or any of our marketing products that we have as well. I'm going to go ahead and screen share. And let's have a chat about BoxBrownie. All right. So BoxBrownie is one of our preferred vendors. BoxBrownie does a lot of different things, but it all has to do with imaging. They are a very inexpensive and also fast turnaround company for us to do different kinds of image enhancements. I just want to put a disclaimer out here, though, that if you do any kind of image enhancements, make sure that you are not violating any rules or regulations for your various MLS systems, and also stay within the bounds of ethics and disclosure on anything on here. I'd like to put that out there as soon as we start here. One of the first things that BoxBrownie will do, they do lots of image enhancements. Now, most of you have photos taken by professional photographers, but that might not always be the case, or you may need to have a coming soon photo taken, or we've seen this where maybe the seller has a photo that was previously taken that they'd like to use again that wasn't necessarily taken by a professional photographer. We often see this if the person has maybe a beautiful garden and you're listing it in the summertime and you've missed the spring bloom, or it's the winter time and their pool is closed up and you have a beautiful shot of the pool from the summertime, but it's not professionally taken and you may need some image enhancement done on it. Their image enhancement prices start at only $1.60 per photo. They do have a 24-hour turnaround time on it, so it is very, very quick. They do all sorts of different image enhancements on here. Just go through a couple of examples for you. They do some great white balancing, some image sharpening. You can see the before and afters here. Straightening, removal of certain blemishes. We also see this in removal of artwork as well. If you do need artwork replaced or if you need artwork removed, they are able to do that for us. Lens distortions, any kind of brightness and contrast adjustments. This is really important, especially for those of you who might be listing a home that has a view and you did not quite get the right contrast as far as the view and interior shots. We use this fairly often for that. They do have a sky replacement and a lawn enhancement. Again, I would like to remind you that if you do this, you need to stay in the confines of our various MLS systems and also ethics and disclosures. And we want to make sure that we do put on any of these images that have been enhanced in any way, shape, or form, that they are enhanced or virtual images, just for disclosure purposes. There's that pool shot that I talked to you about, any kind of tone and adjustment. There's that TV screen replacement. They can actually put something on the screen so it doesn't look blank. And of course, any additional dust spots, flash removals, adding fire to fireplaces to make it look a little more cozy. And then also doing some bracketing with that window replacement. This is where you have those photos where you have that great view outside the property. But oftentimes, if it's not necessarily taken by a professional or they didn't get that second shot, you may have a shot of the interior or a shot of the exterior, but the interior is not quite right. They can actually make those come together for us. We have seen this fairly often, an accidental reflection removal. So they will be able to take that out of a mirror. And of course, they can also give that some bright lights as well. So really, this is just making the photos that you already have, just have that little bit of extra. They are the company that does provide the nighttime photos. So for those of you who may have seen the day to dusk, these are only $4. So if you're looking to brighten something up or you want to give it that high contrast with that sunset and you want to turn on those lights and you just want to give it that little afternoon glow in the golden hour, this company does that. They do it for, again, only $4 for that. This comes in handy if we've had a very gray day, or this happens fairly often to us as well. We have a beautiful bright day, but there's no contrast in the sky at all. And again, you can go ahead and turn on that lighting. and you can turn on some reflections in the windows, just makes things a little bit brighter. I do want you to notice that quite a number of these are actually new homes, new constructions and renderings. This is great to use if you are in the new construction or new home space, to be able to go ahead and change some of the renderings that may have come, and just give them a little bit of a facelift as well. Here's that add fire to fireplaces. You can do this outside as well, and any kind of weird shadow removals. They're also the company that we use for virtual staging. So oftentimes we'll have photos that have been taken and we need to give them some virtual staging. This is a service that every single professional photographer offers. And again, you may have had a listing and you've had your professional photos taken, but maybe you have to go back and they've either done some renovations or maybe they've moved out now, and now the home is blank and empty, and you need to go ahead and add some virtual staging to that. They have lots and lots of different options for virtual staging. It does start at $24 per photo, which is fairly inexpensive, especially if you've had a per photo cost before. They also offer lots and lots of different decor in here. So they have traditional, they have modern, they're able to do condos, they're able to do single family homes. They do have an entire commercial real estate section up here that I'm not going to go into today, but if you do play in the commercial real estate space, do know that they have commercial and office options for you as well. Speaking of office, I do love the fact that they also do virtual staging to repurpose rooms. So if you're looking at a blank room in a house and it's really difficult to tell scale, you can always, of course, add a bedroom set to it. It certainly gives people the feel of what that room would look like. But we've also seen where you've taken bedrooms, and this is especially popular now with how much remote work we have going on, where they'll take a bedroom and they'll actually turn it into an office and do some virtual staging just to show that it could be used as a home office as well. You can see as I've gone through here, we've had lots and lots of different decor options. I love the fact in here that if you do not like something, they do have a 100% guarantee. So if this room and you put this style of furniture in here was not to your liking and it wasn't to your seller's liking at all, you could actually go back to them and say, I would like to swap this out for something more modern or something more Scandinavian, something more traditional, whatever it happens to be, and they'll do it. The other thing too is that if you have a listing that's been on the market for a little while and maybe you want to swap out the decor, we've actually asked them to swap out the decor after it's been on the market for a couple of months, just to give it a different kind of look. So when people are looking through the various photos on the internet, wherever they happen to be searching, they see a different look than when it was first listed. So we do love the virtual staging options, and at $24, it's fairly inexpensive. They also do item removal. This is great for those of you who have ever gone into a listing and asked them to please, organize the house a bit, and maybe they didn't quite get everything done, or they've gotten everything done and you had all your professional photos taken and all of a sudden you realize that they left the poof in the shower, or they left some bottles somewhere, or something was just a little bit out of place. You can always have them do some item removal and cleanup as well. This is a great option. I love the fact that they can remove cars. Again, this happens to be a new construction. Sometimes we have a car parked out front. Here's that bathroom shot where they've been able to remove anything that was not attached. They've been able to remove stuff out of a storage area. They've been able to take artwork off the walls for us. And again, clean up those kitchen counters just a little bit, make it a little bit brighter. And of course, they are able to actually remove furniture as well as do the virtual staging. So if you need to have furniture removed, it's available on here as well. This is becoming more and more popular to do floor plans. They have lots and lots of different floor plan options. So if you do have a floor plan, they can do a rendering for you. They do full color 3D renderings. They do 2D renderings. They create floor plans. Again, I'm just going to say that if you don't have exact measurements or you don't have actual architectural standards for here, make sure that you disclose that the square footage or that the floor plan is not necessarily to scale. Just make sure you're disclosing everywhere. So you can see that they've taken a before on a floor plan here, and they have turned it into an actual floor plan for us. Great to add to your listings. Terrible drawing into a colored 2D rendering. And again, they've taken that builder drawing here and they've added the furniture and layouts, and they've done a color rendering, a 2D textured as they call it. And you can see the prices on here are very, very reasonable. So here we are at a full 3D oops, let me go back here, a full 3D rendering, and it's only $32 per story. That's a nice condo there. Terrible drawing, and they've been able to give us this additional floor plan. And again, a drawing with an actual mock-up on it. So it's kind of a hybrid here. And they've been able to give us a 2D textured. And of course, this is only $28. And I love this one. So it's a full architectural rendering here, and they've been able to design it as an actual home. It really certainly gives depth and space, especially as people don't necessarily aren't able to imagine what a floor plan would look like. We often find that people just can't read these if you're not in the real estate space. And if you don't look at these fairly often, then it's hard to imagine what this is and what the space can entail. And we love to see these renderings. So of course, this 2D textured rendering was only $28 on here. I did mention for those of you who are in the new home space that they do actually do renderings if you're working with a builder. And they have a floor plan that will be going onto a particular property, or you need to have some renderings done of what it might look like when it's finished. These are those to be built. And again, I'm going to just remind you that if you have any renderings done, you need to disclose that it is a rendering and not an actual home or a to be built, and that this is also a architectural rendering for the interiors as well. But they will do full renderings from floor plans and from drawings and for particular rooms as well. They have a couple of other options in here. They also do some copywriting. We don't usually use them for that. Usually it's for image enhancement. I'm just going to drop down this menu here so that you can see some of the other stuff that they do. I love the virtual renovation. As we know that a lot of homes in this area have been built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. We're seeing a lot of generation renovation buying these homes. And sometimes we need to give them a sneak peek of what might be able to happen to a house if you've listed it. So if you're looking at a 1950s rancher that you are listing and you kind of want to show people what it might look like with a new coat of paint and some additional decorations or something like that, you can see that this home on this side was done with just a coat of paint. They've painted the ceiling, they've painted the beams, they've given the fireplace a little bit of a refresh, and then of course they've added that virtual staging in here. So they'll go ahead and add up this additional pricing as you go through. So the virtual staging will be a price, and then of course the doing some of the additional painting and things like that in this will be a price. So they'll add it up individually as we go along. But I do love the idea of being able to show somebody what a house might be able to look like with a little bit of renovation. Same thing here. If you're working with new construction and you know that there will be a pool in the backyard, or you'd like to just show what could be, again, make sure you're disclosing it. You can always do exterior renovations as well. We've all seen listings like this. In fact, we had one a couple of years ago where it was just crazy decor. It was not going to get fixed before the house went up on the market, and they were able to go ahead and take all of that out and give it a more neutral palette. And same thing here. If you're talking about maybe doing repurposing a room for something else, they've been able to do some renovations, finish out a new build. Here's that pool look again. And then here is a space that is being renovated right now. And this is what, again, it could look like in the future. They do a fair amount of other things as well. They do a full custom set. There is some aerial editing for those of you who are taking aerial photos. They do development site plans for those of you who are working in that new home space, portrait retouching, and they do 360 image enhancements and 360 virtual staging. So for those of you who may have had 360s taken for whatever reason, they can actually do virtual staging in that 360 environment. It's one of the only companies that I know of that can do virtual staging in that 360. You will be able to access BoxBrownie from RWT Connect. It is in our quick links area. I've gone ahead and logged in already. You can see right here is BoxBrownie. You can also use the search bar at any time to search BoxBrownie, and it'll go ahead and take you right to this link. This is what your dashboard looks like. The very first time you ever enter this, you should have some free stuff. So they're going to give you 3 free image enhancements and 1 day to dusk to get you started. You can feel free to use it, try out the system. After we have official trainings with them, you'll often see them give us a couple more images. You might receive an email from them too that lets you know that they have given you a couple of extra photos or something to try from time to time as well. So do keep an eye out for those emails when you get them. But the process is really easy. It's just going to ask you what you want to do. And then it's going to go through a series of questions for you, and you can go ahead and just fill out everything that you need done to it and give them as much detail as you possibly can. All of your jobs will be located up here. And again, they have a 24-hour turnaround time on images, but they have a 48 turnaround time on virtual staging. If you need something custom done, so if you're looking at a whole package of something, so maybe you are working with a builder, they're going to do something on a lot that exists and they have a render, they have a floor plan, but they need a rendering. You also want to enhance some images from the same model that they've built somewhere else. So you have a whole package of things that you want to do. You can actually send them a custom quote and say, here's what I need. I have this, this, and this. I'm looking to do this, 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 and this. And they're actually going to go ahead and give you a custom quote. I love the custom quote option because you can repurpose certain things. Instead of doing a one-off with like the image enhancement, they may have already used that image enhancement in the virtual staging, so there's no reason to pay for it twice. So go ahead and get that custom quote if you're going to be doing a lot of work with them on a particular project. They work on a credit system, so you do buy credits and your balance will be up here. So you'll know how much you need when you kind of take a look at everything. If you know, for example, that you're going to do 2 rooms with virtual staging, you know that that's going to be $48. You're going to go ahead and buy enough credits for that $48 and you can go ahead and use that in here as well. I'm going to go ahead and do a virtual staging here just to show you what this dashboard will look like. You're going to go ahead and just give this job a title. And then you're going to go ahead and upload your files in here. You can also drag and drop. And then remember I said you could go ahead and select lots and lots of different furniture types. So it's really as easy as just clicking and showing the different furniture types here. If you want to take a preview, if you click that little eye down here, it's going to show you the different previews of before and after. So you can choose your types. What I love about this too is the Hamptons really fit some of our like Virginia Beach areas. The traditionals fit a lot of our Williamsburg homes. I love farmhouse. I live in a historic home myself, so I'm a big fan of the farmhouse look. If you need something more minimalistic, you also have, of course, there's that commercial non-office and commercial office I did mention. So you have lots of different options here. If you love something in here, but you don't want something else, it's okay. You just need to let them know. You can also mix and match a little bit. If you love this Scandinavian style, but you really hate this coffee table, you can also let them know to put the Scandinavian style in, but you would like the coffee table from Farmhouse instead. So just let them know in those different options on there. Once you have all of that in place, you'll be able to let them know what you would like and all of your different preferences. It's going to go ahead and pull up a cost for you, and you can go ahead and submit it. You'll start to get emails from them to let you know that they've received your files. And if they have any questions, they'll reach out to you right away. Once your file is done, you'll receive an email back that says your file is ready. You'll be able to go into your job section and you'll be able to pull those up. You'll be able to give them feedback on it. So if it's not quite what you were expecting and you need them to change it, or again, if you would just like them to change it in the future, especially on this virtual staging, they will go ahead and do that for you. It's kind of the same thing here with those image enhancements. So it's going to ask you what you need to have done. So if it's something that's really easy, just like a single exposure, do you need to have those images put together where you have those windows and the foreground that need to come together? It's slightly different pricing for those, and it's also a slightly different department that does them. So you'll just need to choose which kind of job you'd like. But super easy. Just give it a job title, upload your files, and then you'll just literally tell them what edits you need to do, review your job, and they'll go ahead and start sending you those files back and give you a confirmation that they've received them. So that is the BoxBrownie tool. Does anybody have any questions about BoxBrownie? Any questions at all? Okay. If there's no questions, or if you have one in the future, feel free again to email the team at websupport@rwtown.com. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have in the future about BoxBrownie, and hopefully you go ahead and use this tool. It's a wonderful thing to have in your back pocket, especially when you're going on a listing presentation and need that little extra something. Thank you for joining me today, and hopefully those of you who are going to stay on for the last session will see me here at 1:30. Thanks so much.